All right, Alpha fam, let's do a quick market update. Before we begin, I do want to say that nothing in these videos are financial advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. This is just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to this channel, if you can please give us a like, comment, and a subscribe. We really do appreciate all of this support. So guys, we've had a very, very bloody last couple of days. But we've been talking about this, guys, for weeks now, all right? We've been talking about the setup. We've been talking about what we think they're doing based upon the Wyckoff schematics. And yesterday, for the last couple of days, they have finally broken down below some of these key structural levels that we were expecting. All right. With that being said, guys, like I said, there's a bunch of different dynamics that need to be taken into consideration here, guys. But for the most part, what we've generally seen is not just a crypto correction, but a general market correction yesterday. And there was a couple of reasons why this happened. I think part of the reason was because some of the geopolitical uncertainty, like again, there was like some ships that went off grid yesterday. I think it was like the USS Abraham. That was some of the factors that were kind of, causing some of this turmoil. Just macroly, there's just been a little bit of uncertainty lately, and this has allowed them to cause the market to be able to kind of, dictate things the way they want. Guys, just from a structural standpoint, all right, just structurally, all right, we've talked about this several times. If you look here on the weekly, guys, the area that I think they're going to try to target is going to be this area, but where basically the prior support or the prior resistance from the consolidation period before Trump got elected, which was basically all of 2024, we were in this chop zone. And I think somewhere between the $80,000 and $70,000 region is where we'll find support. I'm more leaning for us to hopefully find it somewhere right around the 75, where we just generally come into this zone, we wick down, and we bounce out pretty quick, guys. All right, so this thing comes down and then bounces out. All right, this is the key characteristic that we're looking for in the spring, guys. All right, and we said it. We said they will do anything they can, and it kind of makes sense why they're trying to do it now, guys. So there's a multitude of reasons I think that this is happening. One, market structure. When these market structure bills get passed, guys, this wash trading that's been going on, it's not going to be as obviously there's always going to be some washing going on. There's always going to be some type of manipulation, but I think the amount of it that we've seen, I think it's going to slow down significantly. So these guys know, especially these exchanges, market makers, they know that this is kind of coming to an end, and they need to wipe out as much leverage as humanly possible prior to that happening. Also, you have major institutions that are trying to accumulate at very low levels. They're not trying to buy Bitcoin at 126,000. Do you think BlackRock wants to buy Bitcoin at 126,000? Of course not. Most of these ETFs, like just give you an example, Charles & Schwab and Vanguard were just recently allowed to start buying into ETFs. You think they want to buy $100,000 Bitcoin? Or you think they want to buy $70,000 Bitcoin? Think about it, guys. These guys don't need a 20x like the degen meme coin traders do. These guys are very happy with making a 50-60% return on $1 billion position. Seriously. So you have to think about the dynamics on these a little bit, and then just, kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, understand what's going on. Don't panic, because that's what they're trying to do. They want you to panic. They want you to make irrational decisions in basically dumping your bags so institutions can buy them, guys. And then the traders are getting washed in the middle because they're getting rinsed both ways. Guys, it's not going to be easy for these guys, and especially, you hear this bear market talk all the time, guys. It's going to be very difficult, just for like it is for the bulls. It's very difficult for the bears. It's not going to be just a clean sweep, all right? They've had it pretty good the last few months, guys. But I think some of their conviction is going to be tried here soon too. With that being said, guys, like I said, this is kind of what we're looking at right here, guys. As far as like the area that I think we could find support in, or we will find support in, there's just a couple of things that we have to look at, especially when you come over here to the monthly chart, guys. And if I remove everything, all right, you can see exactly what's happened. We had this bearish fair value gap that was above us on the weekly, all right? And you can see we respected that 50% line, like literally perfectly, guys. And this was the rejection, all right? From there, if you're looking at this, other than till you get to this general region right here, guys, there's really no other support. Like this is kind of like a free fall zone, all right? And again, generally speaking, guys, and this isn't 100% always have to go this way. What I think is happening, if you kind of come over here and look at this, I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to wash just a slightly below this range, let this thing come down, and it's going to look, I think, something similar to when the Japan carry trade unraveled on August 5th. This was the spring for this consolidation range, guys. All right, so if you take this, you can take a box up here, and if you draw this box down here, you can see there was two major areas of support for this region right here. You can see as we were coming in, we were rejecting off this top part. We were finding support at the bottom. I remember this region. I was stuck in this range with everybody else for like a year, guys. It was pretty brutal, to be honest with you, especially because we had such a crazy run up prior to that range. And then you can see as the range continued, they pushed prices down. They deviated outside of this trading range, guys. And then you can see, where did that land at? The top of the prior range. You can see. So this was the prior resistance, then turned into future support. All right, guys? And then you can see, I think we're going to see something very similar to what we've seen there, which is going to be this wick down over the next couple of days. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, guys. All right? We could have gone if they decide, hey, no, we're low enough. We've liquidated, I think it was like $1.7 billion worth of longs that got liquidated. If they say, hey, we've come down far enough, or they just might not be able to get enough sell pressure. But I think they will, guys, just because looking at it from a structural standpoint, guys, all right? Because then you're going to have a lot of people knowing the structure has been broken. They're not going to be looking to enter yet until they get some confirmation that a local bottom's been reached, and then we're actually starting to do the recovery. But again, guys, like I said, I think it's going to wick down, and then it's going to jump out quick. If you look at the August 5th, if you look at that wick that happened that time, it was a very brutal wick, but we sucked up so much liquidity that day. I think Bitcoin bounced like it was like crazy. Bitcoin bounced that day. It was like 8-9% just from the wick. All right. The reason I think they're trying to do this more than anything, guys, is not only trying to get people out of the market, but I think they're just trying to get people's tokens. Just being honest with you, all right? You just have to be very smart about this, guys. You have to understand these market structures and how they create them. And if you have questions about this stuff, guys, you need to study the Wyckoff, all right? I'm giving you guys the sauce. Study the Wyckoff. This is exactly what's happening. You got some of these lower time frame leverage traders that are going to try to tell you otherwise, but that's because they look at things totally different than somebody that's trying to swing trade a long-term momentum move, all right? That's why I always tell people, your approach to the market is going to be fundamentally different than the next person's, all right? And the way that a scalper looks at the market compared to somebody that's looking to invest over the long term is going to be totally different viewpoints, all right? When one person says, hey, this is an opportunity, the other person says, hey, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. That's because they have different perspectives on what's going on. There's a lot of division right now in crypto. I've noticed it. There's probably... Ever since I've been in crypto, I don't think I've ever seen a time where I've seen a market more divided between the bulls and the bears. I mean, it's literally a battle right now. You've got half of the market that's saying, hey, no, this is a Wyckoff. We're completing the spring. Actually, I wouldn't say half. I'd say there's a portion of the market that's saying that's underneath of that viewpoint. There's the other half that says we're going into a bear market. And then you have the other half that just think that, they don't really know what to think, and you got all these people that are kind of like this riffraff in the middle, you know what I mean? And it's caused a little bit of turmoil because it's really hard for people to make a decision because most people are driven by price action and what they see on crypto Twitter. So if they're seeing bearish price action, bearish post on crypto Twitter, it's pretty easy to get those type of people to capitulate, especially if they don't understand what's going on. With that being said, guys, we also had some announcements today. So Trump did decide to go ahead and elect Kevin Hassett as the Fed chair. So this is interesting because he's made some very interesting comments on Bitcoin and crypto, how he believes in it, thinks it's a really good technology. So I think this is going to be a good thing for the crypto market. I heard he's pro-dollar, which is kind of strange because we can see the Dixie's just been kind of going down like a free fall. So he's a little bit pro-dollar, but I think Trump is smart. I think he knows what he's trying to do. He understands that rate cuts are going to be very important, and he understands that he's got midterms coming up, guys, which is something I think everybody needs to take into consideration. Trump has midterms. He has to do whatever he can do to secure those midterms, guys. I mean, this is his ass on the line. You have to understand this. I mean, he doesn't want to go get impeached. You know how bad that would be? It wouldn't just be bad for us. It would be bad for the markets, all right? So with that saying, guys, again, everything corrected yesterday. It wasn't just crypto. It was everything. So you have the NASDAQ right here, guys. It came back down, basically retested its 50-day. Or no, this is the futures. I'm sorry. S&P 500 tested its 50-day. So did the NASDAQ. You can see the S&P 500 did the same thing. Look at this gnarly wick where it bounced up and soaked up that liquidity. Something that really dumped very aggressively last night is silver. Down almost 15%, guys. Like a meme coin right here. Been talking about it. I said this thing is super overextended. I'm not saying that it's topped yet. I'm not saying that. But I do think it was over leveraged. I think it was overextended. I think that this is going to humble a lot of people that are FOMOing into tops, guys. Straight up. If you didn't get into this trade a while ago, you're better off waiting for these major corrections to play out if you really want to position in it. Not only that, but same thing with gold, guys. And even if you come on the 5-minute charts, guys, you can see they've been getting hammered going down, all right? And rightfully so, guys. Like I said, they've been overextended, which is something else that I think could also drive this spring on Bitcoin down to that region that we're targeting is a broader stock market correction. If the broader market corrected at the same time where Bitcoin's at these critical levels, this would also be, I think, plenty of fuel to be able to push these levels down to be able to force this spring to occur. All right, guys. So today's Friday. We're waiting for the U.S. market to open. Something else that I noticed that was pretty interesting was the way that Bitcoin dominance has been behaving. If you look at Bitcoin dominance, it's back below the 50-day. It's been going down, which is crazy because alts have been actually like, okay, give you an example. Bitcoin's down 2.24% right now. Solana's only down 1.68%. Curve is down 2.43%. Athena is down 1.53%. So altcoins are performing better. Why? Because they've already been rinsed. They've already been rinsed. Like most altcoins are already down 70 to 90% from their local tops. And they've already had all their leverage rinsed. So most people that are in these things, that are holding these floors, are just pretty much investors that are spot buyers, along with obviously like some of these VC tokens have token unlocks and stuff like that kind of hold floors. But for the most part, there could be some further capitulation and there could definitely be a further drop in some of them and they could still go down. But you're seeing that most coins are kind of at their floors already, guys. So there's really not more I don't see. I mean, obviously, again, they can still go down a little bit, but it's interesting to see that Bitcoin and all the leverage that's still kind of, you have to think Bitcoin is as old of an asset as it is compared to the rest of the crypto market. And it's honestly, it's gone up from basically like 15,000 all the way to 126. All right. And it's still hovering right around 80 grand. So you have to think people have had longs in some of these positions since like the 70s, guys. And they always want to come sweep that liquidity. All right. Always want to come sweep it. They want to scare people, guys. That's just what they do. This is their MO. All right. Always remember that, guys. You have to think about this stuff logically, all right, and try to take your emotions out of this stuff sometimes. So USDT dominance is at a level that I do not like. This is a level that I want to see come back down. You can see we've talked about this several times. It's at this critical level. Every time it comes into this general zone, this is usually where we get a rejection from. Obviously, we need this to happen again. We don't want it to break above this zone because once it does break above this zone and confirms a breakout above it, then we got to say, okay, hold on, guys. We're really getting into bear market territories. You can literally see last time, this was its range, the prior cycle. And you can see once it broke above that range and really got up there, this was the bear market. All right, you can see in 2021 going out of 21 into 22. And then you can see leaving out of the end of 23 going into 24 where we had our first initial run. All right. And then this has been our range of this cycle, all right? And we don't want to break up any higher, all right? Also, looking at Ethereum, all right? And just kind of backing this thing up. I think they're trying to do the same thing on most of these coins, but specifically Ethereum too. You can see it is got a little bit of support down here at this level, but I think what they're going to try to do is bring it back down somewhere to this zone. All right, this one would make sense to me, where we would get a wick down somewhere in between this zone, wick, and then move up. All right, and again, guys, I think the reversal is going to be extremely fast. All right, do I think we're probably going to get a sub 80 Bitcoin? Probably so, but this isn't to make you panic. This is actually to make you prepare. All right, I think this is going to be a unique R&R for anybody that is able to set limit orders and catch some of these potential sweeps of these lows. And if you do that, guys, I'm telling you, like, this is where the smart money is going to be accumulating. This is where they buy. They don't FOMO into tops. They cause panic and they buy fear. They sell greed. That's literally what they do. All right. I know it's easier said than done. I know that emotions and people's finances, it's very hard to control these type of dynamics. I 100% understand that. And if you're looking for somewhere where you can kind of get that support, where you can get your questions answered, community where you can be able to network with other people, get coached, mentored. If you want a place where you can learn macroeconomics, fundamentals, technical analysis, and these different concepts, the projects that we invest in, guys, click the link below. We'll see you inside. But before we end this, guys, I want to just kind of give you guys a little bit of words of encouragement. Crypto is the future of finance. In 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we will all look back at these times and you will wish you had did more. You will wish you had went out and cleaned trash cans to earn the extra money to be able to accumulate more blue chip assets. All right? It is the future of finance. Regardless if you love it, hate it, every single person in the world will be using blockchain technology regardless if they know they're using it or not. This is a very small market, guys. It's $3 trillion, less than $3 trillion right now, guys. You have to understand that. You have to really deeply understand what's going on, take a deep breath, remain stoic, and understand that this is going to be the single greatest opportunity ever. There's no other asymmetrical bet that you can make in any market or in any industry other than crypto, other than maybe AI, and obviously crypto and AI are kind of conjoined as one, guys. I truly believe the currency of AI will be crypto. All right. With that being said, guys, keep your notifications on. I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'll be posting an update tomorrow. We're supposed to have some bad weather, but again, I'm going to be watching things closely. If anybody has any questions, send us a DM. And if you're looking to join a group, click the link below and we'll see you inside.